And we are live. Hello, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Brew by Jay podcast, where we discuss all things coffee, all things life, all things business related, all things entrepreneurship related, all things life related, all things whatever it is that I'm doing in life related. Very, very glad to have you here. And today I want to today I want to discuss influencers, specifically in the specialty coffee industry, and how influencers are actually affecting the everyday lives of a normal consumer, and what should an influencer be? What should an influencer do? And I'm sure we're going to get into many different rabbit holes, as I always do. But how does a coffee influencer become a coffee influencer? Well, there's a few different routes. One can go viral on Instagram. One can go viral on TikTok. One can go viral on YouTube. Some of the early day TikTok stars of specialty coffee include folks like Morgan Drinks Coffee. They are an incredible person that does incredible work and just so many different and diverse things within the specialty coffee industry, within the realms of specialty coffee. They are a barista competitor and also content creator, placed second place at World Barista Championships, US Barista Champion, multiple times placed runner up, and also just provides a ton of value to the nerdiest of the folks, and also to just even a non-specialty coffee drinker, introducing them to many different recipes around specialty coffee, fun drinks that they can make. So Morgan is one of those classic TikTok superstars that was able to turn that into a full-time gig, and now they operate out of a studio, which is really, really cool to see. Nonetheless, there's Morgan. There's, of course, James Hoffman. There's of course Lance Hedrick. There's a lot out there. Those three come to mind immediately. There's Daddy Drinks Coffee out of Canada. There was who's wow, I'm totally blanking on his name. September Coffee. Who's September Coffee? How am I forgetting his name? I'm sure I'll come back to it, and I'll remember. But I used to watch a ton of his videos. He used to do incredible work, and now he's just full time on September, which is probably one of the reasons why I am totally blanking out on his name. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's him. There's some other YouTubers like Sprometheus. He does a lot of really cool stuff around specialty coffee. But yeah, there's just so many people on so many different platforms that are doing different things. There's Instagram. On Instagram, there's also Tanner Colson. He does crazy quality stuff on both Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And so, well, there goes one of my lights, but whatever. So we're just gonna roll with 3 lights. Sorry to the listeners who are not seeing what's happening here, but yeah, so there's a lot of different creators that are in the specialty coffee scene, including myself. I'm not only an entrepreneur in the coffee space, but also a content creator. And if you're not willing to embrace that fact, then you're not really built for it. Some of the craziest, some of the most impactful people with influence are content creators. And the term content creator is kind of cringy, to be honest. I mean, I never thought I would be a content creator. I thought content creators were something that really pretty girls or really handsome guys did. Like, I am neither of those two things. I'm not shredded. I'm not jacked, right? I'm just a pretty normal looking dude. I mean, I guess I am 6'2" and I'm Korean, so that puts me in the not so normal territory immediately. um, but other than that, there's not a whole lot interesting going on about me physically, right? And so there's so many different ways in which you can become an influencer, I guess. And the term of influencer, what do you describe an influencer as? The term itself is someone with influence, someone that influences other people. So whether you have one follower or 10,000 followers or a million followers or 10 million followers, you're still influencing people. It's just really what we're measuring is the scale at which your influence is at play, right? The scale at which you're able to reach different people, which is how much you make is determined in the influencer space. Your reach, your engagement, your views. Because just by measuring followers is such a terrible metric, because nowadays there's so many people with fake followers on Instagram. There's so many of them. I mean, it's unreal, especially in the specialty coffee industry, because I say especially in the specialty coffee industry because it's the industry that I'm the most involved in, but I'm sure there's literally phonies all over the place, left and right. I don't know, in the audio space, I'm sure there's people with fake followers. In the computer, in the tech space, I'm sure there's a ton of people with fake followers. But in specialty coffee, yeah, it's terrible. It's the same. There's a lot of fake people with fake followers that pretend like they're influencers, and some of them believe it. I mean, I know some people like that in Korea. And in the States too. I know people that have bought followers and are acting as if there's some hot thing. I'm just like, oh, it must be such a sad life that you're living to have to pretend like you're something that you're not. It's so sad, which is one of the reasons why me personally, in my own personal branding journey, in my own content creator journey, I not once paid for anything. Not even a paid ad. Not even a paid ad. Now, I have not spent a single dollar on running ads for either my own personal brand or UFO Dripper or Geisha Murderers or some of the other brands that I have helped develop. I don't believe in those fake metrics. I don't need fake metrics to stroke my own ego to make myself feel good. I'll feel good by having genuine impact, genuine positive impact on the community. That's what I'm concerned about is creating that. Doing good with the so-called influence that I'm given, or that I, truth be told, just kind of generated out of nothing. It's one of the few things that you can create as a human being. You can create your influence. And that's something that I want to speak on today is no matter what it is that you're doing, no matter where you are in your specialty coffee career, if you want to build influence, you can make it. You can create it. You can demand it. Just like respect isn't something just given to you, it's something that you have to demand. You can demand influence. Now, just because you demand influence doesn't mean that you're going to be given that influence, because influence isn't just about how many followers, how many subscribers you have. Influence is about, are you actually able to change the course of someone's life? Are you actually able to change someone's decision? Are you actually able to create legitimate change in somebody's life? That, to me, is what influence is. And to have influence, you can't just have followers, you can't just have subscribers, you must also have authority. And that is what a lot of people are missing, specifically in the coffee industry. I see this in so many different scenarios, and it goes both ways. I see people with titles that can potentially give them legitimate authority and legitimate influence, but they don't know how to utilize that title into something that actually gives them influence. I know barista champions, Brewers Cup champions, cupping champions, whatever champion you are, because there's so damn many of them out there that have literally zero authority and zero followers. The days of you being a coffee champion and all of a sudden gaining influence are over. Over. There are world barista champions that are completely forgotten. There are world Brewers Cup champions that are completely forgotten. And that's okay, because not all champions do this to gain notoriety, to gain fame, to make money with, or to gain influence with. Some of them just do it because it's fun. Some of them do it because it's something that provides them a sense of meaning, a purpose. But competition nowadays is not the only way in which you can generate influence with. It's not enough. It's not enough. You have to do more. You have to do more. And in doing more, you have to create value. You have to provide value. The World Barista Champions, the World Brewers Cup Champions, the World Cupping Champions, all of those, the World eBrick Champions that are relevant in today's day and age are people that never stopped providing value to the general public. Those that didn't, they've gone obsolete. Even the world's most innovative thing becomes obsolete if it's not continued to be worked on. And now that we talked about people with titles that could have authority, could have influence, not having influence, now let's talk about people that have followers but have zero influence. You can have 100,000 followers, 2 million followers, and have zero influence. Yeah. You have to understand that just because someone has followers doesn't mean that they have any authority. And so I see people with a lot of followers, but they're like, oh man, I don't know how to monetize this. I don't know how to actually generate any form of wealth from this. I don't know how to actually create any form of influence from this. And the reason why, 9 times out of 10, the missing thing is authority. Maybe you are a photographer. Maybe you are a videographer that does really, really incredible work. And the value that you provide to your followers, to your audience, to your subscribers is your work. Now, that's a valuable thing. That's something of value, but it's not authoritative value. It's entertainment value. It's not educational value, it's entertainment value. And if you're providing entertainment, you may have a lot of followers that follow you. You may have a lot of subscribers that subscribe to your content, but it's just for entertainment purposes. It's not because they're gaining any other value from it. What you're posting, what you're sharing, doesn't actually influence the way they live their lives. And so, yeah, that's a case of having a lot of followers and zero influence. And also, another thing too is I see so many people that have been doing this for such a long time and they're grinding, they're working hard. Working hard is not working hard is not what's missing in their formula. What's working in their formula is they just lack direction. They have no idea where it is that they're going and they don't know how to get there because they have no idea where they're going. And a lot of people, especially in the specialty coffee scene, just want to be famous just to be famous. I don't know, like a 40-year-old dude who posts cringy pictures of himself doing cafe tours is is not creating any value to the audience. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. You're crying for followers. You're like, oh, I've been doing this for so long. I worked so hard. I put out such good content. But why do I have no followers? Bro, your shit sucks. I I don't know what else to say. Your shit sucks. Period. Like that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. And if your thing sucks, then you have to iterate. But so many people don't iterate. So many people continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and expect something different to happen. You know what that's called? That is called insanity. So many people are insane. So many people want to have influence when what they're posting are cringy selfies of themselves with their legs crossed, sipping on coffee. It's like, bro, stop. That's why nobody wants to follow you. That's why nobody wants to listen to the things you say. That's why nobody wants to go to cafes that you recommend because you're not focused on providing value. You're focused on making yourself look cool. You want to gain followers? Instead of making yourself look cool, make your audience feel cool when they watch your content. It's that easy. That's how I grew my social media from nothing to over 30,000 followers on my personal brand and over 10,000 followers on my business. Over 40,000. And it happened really, really quickly. It wasn't that hard. I just did the right things. Actually, I don't even know if I can say I did the right things. The only right things I've done are the fact that I've tried many different things and I continue to iterate and I continue to post. I continue to post multiple times a day when other people posted once a week, once a day. I talk to content creators, I talk to businesses, I talk to cafe owners, and I'm like, when they ask me, How'd you grow so quickly? And they tell me, I'm doing so much work too. I post every day. As if that's hard work. As if that's a metric that should be praised. Once a day is lazy work. If you want to make yourself known, if you want people to associate something with your brand, with your company, which is what branding is, once a day is not enough. There are over 100,000 cafes in Korea alone. And you want to stand out by doing once a day posts? Get real. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So, I discussed a little bit about how different cafes think about the quantity of content that they create and produce. And I also touched a little bit on some of the big guys. James Hoffman, of course, I didn't talk much into James Hoffman, but James is literally one of the goats in, if not the goat in the social media world of specialty coffee. Because if it weren't for James, I'm not sure we would be where we are now with specialty coffee. Because James is one of the very few that have had tremendous influence on not only the specialty coffee on the present day specialty coffee drinkers, but even to non-specialty coffee drinkers. So many people became specialty coffee drinkers because of James Hoffman's YouTube, period. I mean, that is such an incredible thing that someone can have so much influence that they can affect millions of people. And now I think James Hoffman is one of the classic examples of someone that's doing things very, very, very well. There is little to zero controversy around James's content, other than self-elitist home baristas that that think that their James's recipes suck. Okay, okay, you know what are you doing? What have you done? What have you done to better this industry? Complain about James Hoffman's recipes? It's so pathetic, which is an incredible natural carryover to the next segment of people that want to grow but rely solely on other people's opinions for their own content creation. Specifically, people that continue to just complain, 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 complain. It's amazing how it's amazing how many people seem to lack agency in the specialty coffee world. It's amazing how many people seem to not understand the fact that different opinions exist. It's amazing to see how many people try to utilize other people's voices for their own good. It's amazing how so many people have nothing better to do than to complain about what other people are saying. It's sad. It's really depressing because I know some of those people, and some of those people are people that I used to call acquaintances, and now I can't even call them acquaintances because they're so far behind. We're like living in completely different dimensions within this world. It's insane. It's really sad because they do work hard, but they're not working hard towards the right directions. They're working hard But it's like they're running on a treadmill while others are actually running on land. So these people have this false sense of forward movement when in reality they're staying stagnant, which is very abundantly clear in many different areas of their lives. But you know, it's a good thing that those people exist because at the end of the day, not everyone can be winners. That's one thing that I really want to drill into everybody's heads. If you're listening to this podcast today and you've gotten this far, I want you to take away this one thing. If this is the only thing that you remember, is that it's okay that not everyone in this world are doing the things that you're doing. It's okay that not everyone is crushing in life as well as you are crushing it. Because you know what? It doesn't even matter what you think about what other people are doing. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. The society functions the way it does because we have so many different types of people. This society functions, this coffee industry functions because you have people like me, you have people like you have people like people, you have people that roast, you have people that brew, you have people who source coffee, you have people that QC, you have people that provide immense value silently behind the scenes. I mean, I have friends where it's insane. They're behind the scenes a of companies that literally shape this industry and no one knows their names. This whole influencer thing does not equate to actually how much impact you create into the world. And whatever it is that you're doing in life, if you believe that that's the direction that you should be going and you are happy with it, then run with it. And when you see other people that aren't heading towards the direction that you're heading at the speed that you're heading, there's no need for you to look down on them. The moment you look down on them, the moment you start to think about differences as level gaps that exist between you and others, is the moment you start to limit your own growth. So now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to another subject. What should we talk about? Of course, we discussed a little bit about influencers and things like that. Okay, so there are a few things that I wanted to discuss. I think I want to move on to why I don't really do many brand deals. So, before I was a coffee professional, I was a home barista, just like many of you guys that are going to be listening to this podcast. And, it always bugged me how many so called influencers would promote just terrible, terrible products. It always bugged me how, you know, to be honest, I have friends I have friends that are promoting some dog shit these days. Can't even lie. I can't even lie. And it's tough. It's really, really tough because I see why they do it. I see why they do it. And to me, it might be a terrible product, but I also think that me saying that something's a terrible product just because it's cheap is maybe something that I should think a little bit more deeply about. Right? Just because it's cheap doesn't mean that it doesn't have a place in this in the market, right? Like just because just because I now can use a Llama Marzocco doesn't mean that I once didn't need a Gadget Classic Pro for me to have access to espresso at home, right? But then again, I'm not talking about Gadget Classics as these cheap products. I'm talking about like just these terrible, terrible plastic machines that exist and terrible, terrible, just all kinds of products that are being promoted by people with a lot of influence and authority. But at the end of the day, there's a need for that, I guess. But is this me self justifying people promoting shit products because they're just because they're my friends? Maybe. Maybe. See, this is a dichotomy, right? These dichotomies exist in so many different areas of my life, and I'm sure they exist in your lives as well. And this is where I think a little bit of empathy is required, where we look at some of those things and go, okay, why are they doing this? And maybe it's to just live. Maybe it's to live the lifestyle that they want to live. Maybe it's to support their families. Maybe the products are actually really good. I just don't want to use them. I get bombarded with emails and collaboration deals and all these things all the time. And most of the times I say no because I'm not because of moral superiority. It's more so because it just doesn't align with who I am as a brand. I am not an equipment reviewer, which is why I rarely ever review equipment. I mean, look, I have a ton of equipment that I could review. I just from where I'm sitting, I see three Akai scales, five Akai scales. I have the EK43S, I have the Lagome O1, I have two fellow EKG Stags, I have the La Marzocco Micra, I have the drippers. I have so many damn drippers that I can make a video out of every single one of them. Compare it with the UFO and all this. But that's really not who I am yet. Maybe I will become a reviewer, but I just think that there's so many different better coffee equipment reviewers out there, like Lance Hedrick, like Daddy Makes Coffee. There's so many of them where I'm just like, do I have to do that? Where when I don't really find that to be all that enjoyable, there's two Time War Sculpture 078S's that I'm looking at right here. There's all this camera equipment, there's all this filming equipment, right? But it's just not who I am. It's also not my expertise. I don't review equipment, right? I'm sure I could provide some opinions on them. I mean, I've done consulting work for a lot of big brands, kettles, grinders, but those are just behind the scenes work. I'm not very public with equipment. Although, again, maybe in the future I'll review some equipment if there's enough demand. But honestly, that is so much filming work. It's crazy. Like, y'all don't really understand how much work goes into producing a video that James Hoffman puts out, Lance Hedrick puts out, Daddy Coffee puts out. It is insane amount of videography and just choreography. It's crazy. It's crazy. Audio work, all the things to make things look pretty and all. It's insane, and it's just not something that I personally find to be enjoyable. I personally find more enjoyable to be able to just pop the camera on, turn the microphone on, and just ramble about different things and different opinions and different things that I've learned. I enjoy sharing things like this. This is what I enjoy, so I do this for now. Because again, a year ago, if you asked me, Jay, are you ever going to do a podcast where you're talking to yourself or talking to your audience, looking into a lens of a camera for 20 minutes and 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes even an hour by yourself? I would have said, no, you're crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I generally say no to brand deals just because I don't really enjoy that. Unless it's something that I really find enjoyable or something that I want to promote. If there's a really cool thing going on where I can be the catalyst for people to show up to an event, I'll promote that. Right? But the equipment, I'll leave it to other people for now. Anyway, so these influencers, there's a lot of them. And I think they serve a very distinct purpose in the specialty coffee industry in a way of showcasing and introducing products into the world where there would be no other way for consumers to know about them if it weren't for those influencers that are given free products or even sometimes paid to create videos with, so that they can introduce those products into the world, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatnot, YouTube, whatever it might be, right? To say that influencers are useless is a very stupid statement. I recently posted saying that that specialty coffee doesn't need more influencers, we need more educators. But even that, I mean, is a very polarizing statement. Because influencers can be educators, educators can be influencers, vice versa. And I learned a lot from these influencers, actually. I learned a lot from these influencers that don't do anything else but promote free stuff that they're being given. Now, the influencers that I don't generally enjoy are the influencers that have very big heads and think they're something when they're really not. And it's very apparent when someone is a narcissist. It's very, very apparent, and it's apparent in many ways, and it's the most apparent really, I think they know. I think they know because it's hard for a narcissist to gain a big following, I think. I think. And so people see small success and think that the success is theirs. People see a small burst in follower growth and think that that burst is theirs. And I don't know, maybe it is, maybe not. I'm not one to credit my small successes I've had along the way of building my personal brand and also my business's brand. I don't attribute those things to myself quite yet. I think it's a lot to do with who I'm just around and the stuff that I consume and a lot of luck. Of course, a lot of hard work, but hard work is a given. So, yeah, that's I think the primary function of an influencer. Right? I mean, I used to send, I still do. I send products out to influencers. I send UFO drippers out to influencers. I don't do a lot of it because I'm a very small business, and I honestly, international shipping is very expensive, and so sometimes the shipping costs me more than the drippers themselves. But yeah, and then what do I get? I oftentimes just get one or two reels, and that's that. And then the UFO dripper is forgotten amongst their stash of tens of other different drippers, right? That's just a reality of influencers being influencers. Anyway, that's kind of it. And so beware of fake influencers. One, if you're a brand, if you're a business and you want to work with you want to work with an influencer, I think it's very important to for you to check whether whether the influencer is actually real or not. I see so many different brands, and I see so many different even so many different coffee people that are just being absolutely fooled by these by these they're scammers. That's what they are. They are scammers. They are real life scammers. If you use if you buy fake followers and act like those followers are real, and you go around asking people to treat you as if you actually have influence, you are a scammer. Point blank. You are a scammer. That is a fraud. And so many people fall for that fraud. So many brands fall for that fraud. It's like someone has 50,000 followers and you go to their reels and there's no views. There's like 500 views and like 10 likes, and all their likes are hidden. There's no comments. Right? Some of them even hide the views, right? I don't understand how these brands are falling for these fake influencers. So many people, there's so many lonely people in Specialty Coffee, man. There's so many lonely people in the world. And these social media metrics give people a fake sense of security and fake sense of friendship and fake sense of companionship. And so whenever I see people like this, I just feel bad for them. I really do. But for brands, I don't feel bad. For brands that hire these fake influencers, I'm like, damn, y'all are stupid. Y'all are dumb. You should do a little bit more background check before you pay these people to create content for you. Anyway, as a consumer, please be aware of people with influence and do with that what you will. Listen to people, but don't always give them a lot of weight. Heck, even to the things that I say, right? A lot of the things that I say, a lot of the things that I do may not actually apply to your life. And so, being a conscious consumer of not only actual physical products, but also digital products nowadays is such a critical thing. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch all y'all next time. Much love. Deuces.